I recently attended the Aramco Team Series event in Clearwater, Florida. I sat in on the Investment in Women's Sport panel, which included Jan Stephenson. Jan has experienced amazing highs and lows in her career, struggling for recognition in women's professional golf. But in my conversation with her, I found her biggest battle wasn't fought on the golf course.
Well, I always wanted to play on the US LPGA Tour. I came from Australia from the time I was probably 13. I just had this burning desire to do it. It's so funny when you talk to some of the young kids, they go, well, why didn't you just email or pick up the phone? It's like we didn't have those things. So just getting to America and getting on the tour, having to write letters to the LPGA just to get an application to be in the qualifying school all the way back in Australia was quite a challenge.
I went to see a golf tournament in North Carolina that you were playing in, and I noticed something very strange. The gallery was larger following Jan Stephenson than the leaders. Blessing or a curse or a little of both?
That's a good question, a little bit of both. There's no question I think I would have won more if I hadn't have had that attention. The new commissioner came on board and he wanted to create an interest in the game. I had just won a tournament and he said, this is perfect. She's going to be the new image of the LPGA. So I did a lot of work to help the tour at that time because it was struggling. And I got really fortunate because I started winning, and you come to tournaments and have enormous galleries waiting for you. It's really neat.
And speaking of winning, having won over 40 tournaments, again, the struggle. It took some time for you to really get recognized. Did you kind of feel like no matter what, Jan Stephenson had to do a little bit more just to get the recognition you deserve?
Well, yeah, because it was always talking about the glamour girl, not the winner of the US Open. The hardest part for me was the struggle with my injuries. In '82, I broke my foot, so I missed the first part of the tour that year. And then in '87, I finally got to number one on the money list and was really excited. It was something I'd always wanted. Someone on drugs ran a red light and smashed my courtesy car, and I broke all the ribs in my left side and had head injuries. I came back and won the last two events of the year, and then in '91 I was mugged in Miami and broke my hand and ruined my tendons, and so I've had quite a few physical struggles.
Having gone through all that, why did you do something as insane as go on Dancing with the Stars? You must have known it was going to be physically punishing. So what drove the decision?
My mom had had a stroke, but she was a professional dancer. It was something that stuck with me because I had to choose between dancing and golf. So when I had the opportunity in Australia, she was so excited because I was actually going to learn to dance. And I did it for her, not knowing how much hard work that would be.
It wasn't ego-driven, it was love of your mother.
Yes.
Leading that into all of the different things you've done, golf architecture, how much of that was the ambition of Jan Stephenson, and how much was what else should I be looking at, knowing the fragility of the human body?
Well, that's true. I mean, I really didn't think, oh, you're a toughie, let's you can come back from that. It was just, okay, now what do I do? Let's start again. I bought a winery thinking, oh, I'm going to get into the wine business. And so I had to learn a brand new business and realized how hard it was. COVID hit, and I couldn't go to the country clubs and do wine tastings. So I sold that winery, but I learned a lot from that. So I then went into the liquor business, the distributorship. On the other side, I'm like, it's better to be on the side distributing because I don't want to be the supplier, I want to be the distributor.
Having finally been recognized and going into the Golf Hall of Fame, that must have been such a relief in a way.
It took a while before I actually got into the Hall of Fame because it wasn't till they recognized all of my international wins. Wait a minute, this person should have been in a long time ago.
Unfortunately, you had to deal with breast cancer. How did you take that, and what was it like with all the things you've done, probably putting your life on hold for a while?
It was really hard for me. Couldn't come to terms with it because I've always been pretty positive. No matter what happens, it was, they always said I was like the Energizer Bunny. I'd just get back up and start again. And I remember when I was in the operating theater when they were saying we're going to put this PICC line in, it's going to go up your arm and you've got to go across here and you won't be able to play, you won't be able to do any sports. And I went, stop, and I got off the operating table and I didn't want to go any further, and I had to call my doctor and I said, I can't play pickleball, I can't play golf. And she was like, I think your life is more important. And I was like, but it is life or death. Yeah, you're stage 3 in your lymph glands. You have to do it. And so I had a decision to make. So at that time I went, okay, I'm going to get over this as quickly as I can. I have to go in for PET scans all the time, and I have IVs with vitamins in it once a week. And I feel great right now, so knock on wood.
What do you see now as your future? What do you feel you can do, and what do you feel you would like to do?
Well, you never get over competing. I'd love to compete again. I'd love to play in some of the seniors events. I played yesterday in the Pro-Am, and it was just so wonderful to be out there. I definitely have changed my attitude. I always was never happy with my game, always wanted to do better. Last year I played in a tournament up in Cape Cod, and I hit it so short and I hit it so badly, and I kept remembering, hey, they said this may not happen, so I had to change my attitude.
If anybody has another chapter to write, it will be Jan Stephenson.